My name is Nabony Merdassa. My family and I immigrated to the United States as asylum seekers when I was 9 years old back in June of 2000, fleeing political state violence in Ethiopia. We resettled here in South Minneapolis, where I have grown up. I was almost deported, unfortunately, back in 2016 to Ethiopia, despite the fact the situation there hasn't improved or in some cases has further deteriorated since the time we fled. In 2012, I was living in Stearns County, attending St. Cloud State University when I picked up two misdemeanors for shoplifting and second one for taking an unattended backpack. Uh, the latter being a gross misdemeanor garnered me the maximum in Minnesota, which is a sentence of 365 days, 360 of it being stayed. But under federal immigration law, because of the length of the sentence, this is categorized as an aggravated felony. And that I found out later was enough to qualify me for automatic deportation. When I came to realization that these minor charges could lead me to being deported, I was shocked and devastated, honestly. I couldn't believe that these mere misdemeanors would qualify me for removal from the only real home I have ever known. Fortunately, my family supported me, paying thousands in lawyer fees or to revisit my convictions and reduce the sentence by 1 day to 364 days. Just that difference in 1 day took away my felony and qualified me for cancellation of removal, which I was granted after a strenuous application process and a hearing. A lot of the people in the same situations can't afford an attorney to help them. People caught up in the immigration system are on their own to represent themselves most of the time, including navigating the system and filing out paperwork by themselves while they are still incarcerated, all while their deportation is on the line. We need to address the sentencing issues with the gross misdemeanors. Misdemeanor is too low of a threshold for automatic deportation, I believe, and all that would need to be done to fix things is to lower the maximum sentence 1 day from 365 to 364. Uh, Unfortunately, that situation was not my first experience with our criminal justice system. Like a lot of young Black men, I had regular interactions with police growing up in the third precinct. Growing up in that specific community meant police played by a different set of rules, or better yet, no rules at all, allowed to disregard your rights and pull you over with impunity. I've been pulled over countless times, stating I know my rights, only leading to my rights being further trampled upon, having my vehicle and person searched despite not giving my consent. These repeated experiences lead me to believe that if you are a minority, you have zero rights in the eyes of the police. If the community being harassed, stopped, and unjustly locked up by police had some say in how policing works, and they had more powers to hold police accountable, that would be a step in the right direction. My interactions with police became more frequent as I grew older. I was constantly pulled over for arbitrary reasons and given warnings because I was licensed and insured, and there was never really any infraction to begin with, until it finally led up to my license being suspended for a citation I received and neglected to pay. People have to work to pay fines. Without a driver's license, what are people supposed to do? Transportation, insurance, money. You are completely cut off from these things as soon as your license gets suspended. Yet you are required to pay fines. That one citation snowballed into multiple citations for driving after suspension. The state towing and auctioning off my vehicles, leaving me unable to work, losing apartments, losing opportunities to further my education, and in all, losing any chance of establishing any form of stability or even normalcy. It's a huge, huge financial toll it takes on a person, and a huge emotional and psychological one as well. To be honest, it feels like an amputation, the first domino to systemic stripping of my rights. And it all starts with a traffic ticket. We need to name this. We need to speak about this. And what was intended to be a deterrent has been transformed into a tool of oppression. Every one of these things have by themselves has had a significant impact on my life and on countless others. The fines and fees, the driver's license suspension, and the gross misdemeanor sentencing can all get fixed now by our legislature so they don't continue to ravage vulnerable communities. Hopefully, listening to these stories makes people aware that any of these types of involvement with our legal system can have devastating consequences for people's day to day lives. We need to look at these pieces, but we also need to address how criminalization has become a tool of oppression. We need to fix the ways that criminalization keeps communities of color oppressed and unequal and prevents our rights in being fully recognized and respected.